evening, everyone. I would
Good
like to,
evening.
I would like to open the Coventry School Committee. I have 6:02. Could we have a roll call, please, Mrs. Martin?
Catherine Patnode,
Here.
David Florio,
Here.
Luke Murray,
My space bar isn't working apparently.
I
Here.
see it. Donna Colunian,
Here.
James Pearson,
Here.
and Craig Levis.
Here.
Great. Could we have a vote to go into, a motion to go into executive session, please?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5 parentheses, A parentheses 2.
I second the motion.
And could we have a roll call vote, please?
Catherine Patnode,
Yes.
Dave Florio,
Yes.
Luke Murray,
Yes.
Donna Colunian,
Yes.
James Pearson.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. So we are going to recess into executive session, come back in the public when we're done. We shouldn't be especially long.
I think
See
it's,
everybody in executive session. I'm sorry.
the open session was posted as.
Oh, I see it's at 7. Yes. Okay, great. All right. So thank you. We'll see you in executive session.
See ya.
Convene the open session of the Coventry School Committee. I have 7:04. And I'd like to start with a moment of silence as we consider the work before us this evening. Thank you. Moving on to Mrs. Colunian, if you could honor us with reading the mission of Coventry Public Schools, please.
Sure. A second. Am I on? Okay. The
Yes.
mission of Coventry Public Schools is to inspire, support, and challenge all students in an inclusive community to be critical thinkers, effective communicators, reflective learners, responsible individuals, and global citizens.
Thank you so much. Moving on, I just want the public to know that the school committee met in executive session for about a half hour before this meeting, where we discussed litigation and potential litigation. There were no votes taken on those in the executive session. So if we could have a motion to seal the records.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that the records of the executive session be kept closed pursuant to sections 42-46-4 and 42-46-5.
I second the motion.
Could we have a roll call vote, please, Mrs. Martin?
Catherine Patnode,
Yes.
David Florio,
Yes.
Luke Murray,
Yes.
Donna Colunian,
Yes.
James Pearson.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to the public agenda. The next two agenda items concern the topics that the school committee discussed in executive session. And so to give us some background information on that for the public, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mr. Anderson, the school committee attorney, to discuss these topics for us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Anderson. I am counsel to the school committee. The two agenda items that are listed are in response to the decision of the Attorney General in an open meetings complaint that was filed number 21-05. The Attorney General has directed that we revote to approve the superintendent's contract changes and stipend retroactive to August 1st, 2020 in the amount of $1,000 per month through June 30th, 2021.
Thank you. So is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the superintendent's, excuse me, ma'am. The superintendent's contract changes in stipend retroactive to August 1st, 2020 in the amount of $1,000 per month through June 30th, 2021.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Are there any further questions or discussion from the school committee? Seeing none, are there any questions from the public? Mr. Murphy, I do not see any hands raised. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Catherine Patino,
Yes.
David Florio,
Yes.
Luke Murray,
yes,
Donna Colunian,
yes,
James Pearson.
yes,
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. And Mr. Anderson, did you want to discuss Part B of that?
Sure, as part of the Attorney General's opinion, and I'll confess that it's not the easiest to make sense of. The August 13th, 2020 meeting, the school committee voted to approve some stipends for employees other than the superintendent. I have advised the Attorney General, I have advised this school committee, I have advised other school committees that the setting of the salaries of employees and the drafting of contracts for employees is the responsibility of the superintendent, not the school committee, as a result of the Education Reform Act that took effect January 1st, 2020. The superintendent's discretion in this matter is not absolute. The Coventry School Committee has put limits on the superintendent's discretion pursuant to its transfer policy. I reviewed this matter with the Ms. Mangiarelli, the Director of Finance, and the superintendent's actions with regard to the non-superintendent employees fell within the policy, notwithstanding the fact that I have tried to explain the state law to the Attorney General and tried to explain the policy that is longstanding here in Coventry about the discretion of the superintendent. The Attorney General would like us to vote to affirm that the vote we took back in August 13th has no legal effect. It again is, once again, my advice that the August 13th, 2020 vote with regard to employees other than the superintendent had no legal effect, that the superintendent was acting within the authority granted to him by state law and your budget transfer policy.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to affirm that the August 13th, 2020 vote regarding non-superintendent employees has no legal effect.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion from the committee? Seeing none, is there anything from the public? I do not see any hands raised. So could we have a roll call vote, please, Mrs. Martin?
Catherine Patino,
Yes.
David Florio,
Yes.
Luke Murray,
yes,
Donna Colunian,
Yes,
James Pearson.
yes,
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. And now to our final agenda item, a motion to adjourn. I have 7:11. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that it be adjourned at 7:11 PM.
second the motion.
And if we could just have a raise of hands that we are adjourning. Looks like we have 5 hands up, so motion carries 5-0. Thank you all for your attention. Thanks to the public for attending. And thank you, Mr. Anderson, for your explanations on this matter. Good night, everyone. Have a
Good
great
night.
rest of the evening.
Thank you, Don.
Take care.